So this is definitely going to be a very interesting video, a very potential video about timelines and potentials. For those new to this channel, this video will be part of a larger collection called the Reality Check series, which you can enter anyway, sideways, upwards, downways. Um, they're not like a series. You don't have to watch episode 1 to understand the rest. No, you can enter anyway and just have a fun, you know. The reality check series are videos where I dive a little bit deeper into usually one subject. I might, you know, sway a little, but I always stick to this one subject. Different than my While Shift Happened videos where I just talk about anything. As you may have noticed already. I will put a link in the description to this specific collection, or you can just check the playlists. It's all there. So timelines. Many people find it a difficult subject because they don't understand it from, or they're trying to understand it from a linear perspective, from a linear time perspective, like yesterday, today, tomorrow. But what if there never was a yesterday and there will never be a tomorrow? All you get to experience is right here, right now. You have never been to the future, and I even claim you have never been in the past. No, you create your past and your future in the here now every single moment. And then it makes sense if you see it from a linear perspective. So every next moment you create your reality, your way of looking at the past, your way of looking at the future, again and again and again and again and again. And this is how we created the illusion of linear time. You could think like, I'm moving this way, huh? So the past is behind me and the future is still ahead of me. But for all I know, you are like, you're here, and the next moment 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 you're wow. So where you are at right now is your current timeline. And yeah, if you stop looking at it like linear, like being linear, then you know, you immediately understand, I think you can understand, that the next moment might not be as linear as you thought it to be. And simple example is when you suddenly are surprised by a reality, and now I sound like this actor, Christopher Walken. Oh, that was funny. Yeah. So suddenly you might be surprised by something that was not what you expected. When you're on this linear timeline, and suddenly like life throws you a curveball, or suddenly like you're back in the future. You made so much progress. You think like, whoa, I did so much shadow work, and now it looks like I'm back to square one. Well, actually, that might be true, but you still have like the experience of all that you have experienced already. And for me, it makes it easier to understand this. Like everything is like cycles, and at some point you might feel like, now I am, let's say you start in at point A, and then you move to point B and point C, etc. And at some point you will be at point A again. and it feels like you're repeating things. But this is if you only look at it as a circle, as cyclic. But if you see it as a spiral, then looking from above, it might look like I am point A again, but seen as a spiral, you see I'm in the next layer, in the next tier, like the next level. So it from this linear perspective, it might look like you're back in square one, but actually you moved, you changed, you've grown, you've accumulated experience. So of course I totally understand why people find it so hard to let go of the linear time concept of the past not existing. Well, the past only exists because you recreate it again and again and again and again. It's the stories we tell ourselves. If you tell the story, yeah, I used to be a drug addict, but now I am still, uh, uh, I'm over it. But yeah, there's always the possibility of me, becoming an addict again, because yeah, that's what they say in AAA. They say you will be an addict for the rest of your life. Bro, that's programming. That's like, oh no, let it go. If you realize that you create the past in the here now again and again and again, you can also change your past. At least you can change the way you look at your past. And I promise you, and I guarantee you, you have already done this many, many, many times. Maybe you also can remember a moment when you spoke with someone who you haven't seen for a long time. And I have the perfect example with my parents. I was talking with my parents about my girlfriend a long time ago when I moved out of my parents' place for the first time. I was living in a place. I was staying in a place, from a friend of a friend, and I clearly remember my girlfriend never coming over. Like, I clearly remember she had never come, came, I don't know. Uh, she never came to visit me at this place. While my parents, especially my dad, he was like so convinced, my stepdad, he was so convinced and he was pretty sure, yeah, no, your girlfriend is one. She didn't like it because she saw like you were living in this cave. uh, Sleeping in the daytime and being awake at the nighttime. I was like this night owl, or this I'm madman. It was crazy. But yeah, and you probably know examples of this as well. Like, you clearly remember it happened so and so, while someone else clearly remembers it happened so and so. And this is the Mandela effect. Maybe you heard about it. That's, for me, is like a clear example of how you remember things differently than someone else. And usually the Mandela effect is like one half, and I say half, but it's not like exactly half, but yeah. So one part of humanity remembers it like this, and the other part, half, remembers it like that. It's usually very, very like one or the other. But if you realize that um, time exists or contains, yeah, maybe I find it a bit difficult to do this in English, but I will try. Um, so time contains, is constructed by infinite possibilities. So right here, right now, where you are, right here, right now, in front of you, all around you, you could see like 360 degrees, whatever, or everywhere. You could see like there's infinite potentials. You go this way, you can go this way, you can go this way and then that way. And these infinite possibilities is what I call potentials. And some potentials are, more potent, more likely to happen because they are in the line of where you are moving from moment to moment to moment to moment. And so, what happens as soon as you choose to put your energy, your attention on this particular timeline, the one with the highest potential in your current vision, in your matching your current vibration, because so often we are not aware of our vibration, so we are not aware of why we attract certain situations. And as soon as you move in that direction, all potentials, all possible timelines that are in that area, they will start to like magnets, like they will start to attract each other into becoming like a strong potential. And you can influence this. So many people who talk about manifesting, they think it's just a matter of doing like certain tricks, like step, step, step. First you have to feel it. Yeah, you have to imagine a possible future. Then you have to really feel it, and then get into this vibration. And then, that might very well be true. But one of the major pitfalls they don't tell you about is that you have a soul blueprint. Before incarnation, you agreed on certain soul contracts. You see this especially with twin flame, twin souls. They before incarnation they agreed we're gonna meet each other when both of us are ready for it, because I already know you, and it's gonna be easier this way. We're gonna grow so much faster. We're gonna expand so much faster. Because you already know before incarnation where the direction you're sort of going in. It's not like written in stone. It's not like predestination. I don't believe any of that crap. No, I believe in you set out to have certain experiences, and usually when you choose a soul, you choose it very precisely. That's why it can often take a long time, even though when you're not physical yet, time is a little bit different than here on this physical plane. But the idea of incarnating, having a life, dying, and then incarnating again, in between, that can be like centuries or seconds. I even know an example of someone incarnating before his previous incarnation died. It's mainly theory, ideas, stories, and I love these stories. I don't claim there to be the truth. No. I'm just telling stories about timelines and potentials and a possible perspective, a possible way of looking at it. It's up to you. Huh? What so many say in their videos, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. So right now, and I've spoken about it uh, in a in my last couple of videos. Well, couple. I think pretty much all my videos lately about what I sense has happened in the collective. We've been, as a human collective, we've been basically focused on two separate timelines, like two major potentials. One of which was old Earth, is what they call it, where everything is going to you know, collapse, be destroyed. It's gonna be horrible. Uh, I hear so many people say, it's only getting worse. The world is crazy. Nah, complain, complain, complain. Yeah, if that's the timeline you're focused on, then you're the co-creator of that potential. On the other hand, if we split it in two halves, the other half of the population is focused on awakening. And there's many, many, many ways of awakening. There's also many, many ways of bypassing. The whole woke bullshit, in my opinion. No, they're not awake. But yeah, what do I know, right? I'm just, no, it's not a doobie. It's just a cigarette. I'm just another idiot, a talking head, blah blah blah, who happens to understand this stuff very well and is trying to explain it as best as he possibly can from lived experience. Because I jumped timeline a couple of times. I was so clearly on this timeline, and then suddenly something happened, and it was clear I was no longer on this timeline. Suddenly I was on this timeline. How do I know? Because reality changed in a way I cannot explain in any other way but having shifted from timeline. Yeah, I have a few examples. One of the best examples, well, the coolest examples. I was sitting in a garden. I was living in a community with a lot of, let's say, very awakened people, very conscious people. And I was sitting in the garden and I was talking to person A, and there was no one else in the garden. And while I was talking with person A, for sure, when I entered the garden, only he was there, no one else. I sat down, started talking with him, and out of nowhere, person C popped up. And I asked person A, when I entered the garden, only you were here. Did you notice person C already being here? And he said, yes, for sure. I noticed person C being there, but not person D. And then he pointed at someone, and like another person just appeared out of nowhere. And then person C, person B, heard our conversation, and he said, the funny thing is, I was expecting person D to be in the garden. I couldn't find her, so I was on my way back inside. And of course you can explain it like, yeah, you just didn't see them, but no way. I mean, we're sitting right both looking into the garden, like even in my peripheral view, I could see like the whole garden. So it was not like someone could be out of my peripheral view and then suddenly appear. And he had the same thing because he was sitting opposite direction. So both of us pretty much could oversee the whole garden. I could give some more examples, but it doesn't really matter. Maybe you have examples of your own of how you realized suddenly you shifted from a timeline. Another example of timeline shift is when you walk through a street or you enter a certain building or you visit a friend. Um, but yeah, you clearly noticed that something has changed, something that wasn't there before. I remember clearly we were walking in the street we were both living in, and we were walking in this street every single day. And out of nothing, out of the blue, suddenly we both saw a red door that was not there before. And it was not just a red door. No, the red door was leading to a shop that wasn't there before either. Like this shop never existed, and the next day suddenly existed. And yeah, of course, I mean, a door you can paint in one day, but a full shop like appearing there in one day, no. And then they might have worked all night. Yeah, there's always the mind will always try to find another explanation because timeline shifting. Yeah, no, yes, it's real and it's becoming even more real when you're. That's not a promise. When your frequency rises, it's easier for you. You become more fluent. Fluid. Your reality becomes more fluid. When you're no longer stuck in the whole linear time concept. When you let go of things your ego is holding on so much. When you tune out more often, when you're more in this observing state, then these kind of things happen more often because physical reality uh, is not as physical as we think it to be, as we believe it to be. But if you believe physical reality to be very physical and you don't even know that this is how you experience life, then yeah, of course, you're never gonna believe people saying, yeah, I timeline jumped. Yeah, I shifted 3 times today. So the collective for a long time have been moving in two main directions. One is what they call old Earth, everything going bad, and yeah, if you live on this timeline potential, if you live like on old Earth, uh, then yeah, watch the news. You of course you watch the news, and of course you watch the weather report every day because yeah, it's so important. And yeah, you worried about the future because you have no idea that you are creating the future. You are co-creating the future, and you are creating this reality again and again and again and again and again. Uh, Without knowing it. And then, yeah, new Earth people, they realize, okay, old Earth and new Earth, they exist at the same time. Uh, the difference is getting bigger, and so it's getting more difficult to how I experience to connect with people who live on old Earth, who live in this old construct, who live in the old way, still believing the old paradigms. Usually religious people. Or atheists. They're the worst kind. I don't believe in anything. I know the lyrics are wrong. Yeah, it's funny. So, and recently I received information. I got downloads. It's been a while ago when I clearly noticed. Listen, if there's a positive and there's a negative, there's also a neutral. This is how I explained the third dimension. And in the third dimension, you can only see two dimensions. So you can only see something being right or something being wrong, something being black or something being white. You live on old Earth or you live on new Earth. And then as soon as you increase your vibration and you start vibrating on a 4D frequency level, then you see like, there's also a neutral option. And this makes it very clear that truth is not black and white. No, it's actually a gray spectrum. Black is just very dark gray and white is just very light gray. The same with love. Love and fear. Fear is like the least possible love one could experience. It's still love. And yeah, we are moving slowly into fourth density, which is not the same as dimension. And if you don't understand this concept, I will link two videos in the description that explain the difference between densities and dimensions. Yeah, I think I've covered most of it. If you have questions, please don't hold back, you know. Just ask. That's why we have a comment section, you know. Just ask. All right. Here or here, I still don't know. A pop-up will come up with a link to the reality check series, in case you can't find it. All right. Have a good time.